Oh, somebody I haven't covered. Think before you sleep. This guy comes up a lot. I haven't looked at his stuff before. But he pops up, like, I have, like, actually I have comments telling them
the number of female gamers is growing.
They think this is me? Okay. This shit's a little on the long side. Ideologies that destroy marriages, how addicts lie, how to stay permanently single. Oh, is this, like, relationship shit? Why woke propaganda works, new female influencer grift. Feminism is brainwashing women to like feminine men. The evil side of wow, this is cringe. Okay. Let's see. I don't want to, let's see. Okay, ideologies that destroy a marriage. This is a brand new one. I guess we'll check this one out.
And I ain't got no food to come home to? Huh?
Why you didn't get something on your way home?
You eating?
This
meal?
is leftover that I had from last night.
But I'm saying I can't come home to a full-course meal. What we married for? What we married for?
I'm not your mama. I'm your wife.
Wow. Thank you, feminism. Thank you, Betty Friedan, for writing The Feminine Mystique. And thank you, postmodernism and decades of double standards for corrupting this marriage.
Okay, first of all, how many subscribers do you have? 683,000. Okay, dude, work on your audio setup, please. It's a bit much. You should be doing a bit better than that. And I speak as someone who does not have a great audio setup myself. You could be doing better. Is it AI? I don't think it's AI.
Why else would she think it's okay to say, I'm not your mama, after you pulled a 13-hour shift to pay her bills?
I just pulled a 30.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But also, I know when I come home from work, frequently I will text my family and say, hey, do I need to bring home anything? And if I want something to eat, I typically just get it before I come home, just to make sure I have it, because, shit happens.
13-hour shift. You being my wife, I pay all the bills in here.
All the dishes clean, your clothes clean. Wait, what?
You don't fix me no lunch for my job.
Now imagine
Does she have to, what is it? Does she, do nothing? She just said she did laundry, she did dishes. So, one time she misses a meal. And yeah, the 13-hour shift sucks. I will give you that. But grow the fuck up? Grab yourself some food, dude. What type of baby are you? Just deal with it, man. I'm sorry.
if she came to him one day calling him a dusty or a loser who can't pay a bill, and he said, but I worked 4 hours today. I do have a job. Yeah, but you're still not putting in your full effort. So in this situation, it looks like he's all in with his 13 hours, yet she is patting herself on the back with laundry, which largely does itself because a machine does most of the work, and dishes.
Yeah, sure. A machine will do most of the work, but not all of it. And nobody enjoys doing that shit, dude. It's menial and boring.
Which also largely do themselves.
Your dishes clean, your clothes clean, You always got them clean clothes when you go to work, don't you?
Which of the clean dishes are his? If he didn't eat and earlier you're telling him to get takeout, then those would be your dishes.
You don't, oh, dude, she did the dishes while he was at work. What the fuck? Do you not understand how this works, dude? She did the dishes from the day before and now they're clean. He ate the day before, right? So I assume she cleaned those. Jesus Christ, dude. Fuck.
Again, what does it matter if he's going all in for you, but you don't give him that same respect? Speaking of respect, let's talk about boundaries. But before we do that, though, I have to throw in some disclaimers. This video is going to be based on...
So we're going to be talking about boundaries with a married couple, which I would say are boundaries are kind of loose with a married couple, I would say. I mean, I guess you could definitely argue there can be some, especially if they're pre-established. But I don't know. Married couple. It's kind of all on the table.
Under the assumption that the events in it are real because I cannot verify where it came from. Someone posted it on Twitter.
I also think it's interesting because I have a feeling, because you spent 16 minutes on this video, apparently, that you're going to prescribe everything that's wrong with this marriage over this, like, couple second TikTok. So I'm sure it will be well thought out shit. Like, fuck. Maybe this guy needs covered more often because, God, this could just be really bad relationship advice shit.
There's a TikTok ad in the watermark, but that just leads to a bunch of random videos and not the person who filmed it. Therefore, I cannot tell you if it's real or not. However, it brings up some interesting topics for discussion.
What is this, like, I notice you're not showing your face and instead you're showing, like, I guess, clip art or stock photos or something? Okay.
So we're going to behave as if it is real. Second, I know everyone wants to jump on the wife for acting childish because people did that on Twitter, but also note that in my opinion, the husband crossed a line as well when he filmed this and aired his relationship drama out on the internet, even after the wife asked him to stop recording.
Why y'all was recording for your raggedy cousin? Can you stop recording me?
I've criticized women for doing this in videos like this one here, and I also think it's wrong when men air out their personal drama online. This conversation should not have been recorded. I mean, imagine if someone was sitting there recording every little relationship.
Okay, I'll give you a point there, because that's true. That's obviously a dude recording something for some internet points for, I don't know, probably hoping to win points to the misogynist crowd.
Relationship argument that you had. That being said, what we're experiencing here in this video is a bit of a train wreck where the husband is bringing up his issues, and the wife looks like she doesn't really care, as she's not even facing her body towards him while they're talking. It's to the point where you can hear a crack in his voice, and you kind of feel sorry for him.
I
Feel sorry for the guy who's recording this for a later internet posting. Okay.
can't come home to a full course meal.
Did he say a 4-course meal? No, you can't. Grow the fuck up.
Working all these long goddamn hours, I can't come home to a full course
Oh,
meal.
full course meal. Full course meal. What, does he want her to serve him? Like, dude, like, quit being such a baby. Go get yourself some food. Like, grow up. I make myself dinner all the time. Just grow the fuck up, man.
What appears to be happening here is a person not thinking about what it's like to live in someone else's shoes. Kind of on both sides, considering the fact that he recorded it. And I think that's actually a very common problem in relationships that aren't going well. People can't see things from the perspective of the other person.
Okay, true. I'll give you that, but let's see where you go with it, because I have a feeling you're going to go not well with it.
Don't know how many of you have worked a 12-hour shift or more, but when you do that kind of labor and you add in the time it takes to get ready and drive to and from work, not to mention interacting with the kids, you basically are pulling a 14 to 16-hour day, and you have no time for anything but work and sleep.
Well, if you're doing it multiple days in a row, yes. But here's another interesting side effect when you start doing shit like that. You just kind of get used to it. Like, it's weird. And then, like, when you have a day off, you just, like, fucking, you're wiped. And then you pass out for a while. But, like, when you're actually in the middle of doing shit like that, you just kind of, like, get used to it and move on. Yeah, like, when you're working long shifts like that, you just kind of, like, get used to it. Because I've done shit like that. And it doesn't really burn you out. Like, there's a point, like, it's weird. Like, you work, like, 6 hours, and then you're burnt out, and then you work, like, 10 hours, then you're just kind of, it's like you're burnt out, but you're kind of, like, just kind of numb to it. And then, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's weird. We're watching Think Before You Sleep. Apparently, this is this guy has 600,000 subscribers, and he's giving relationship advice. It's really bad.
That or you start sleeping less. So you can see why he's upset, right? He's sacrificing all his time and maybe his sleep too, while having to eat whatever scraps of food happen to be left, but as far as we know, she gets to eat as she pleases. There's something unequal.
Oh, well, when you're working that long too, you're going to work during the day. You will not survive if you don't eat during the day.
About this, and on top of that, she keeps dismissing him with a bunch of...
Well, listen, here's the deal. Like, if he has a serious issue with that, he could say, hey, honey, please do me a favor. When I work a really long shift, could you go ahead and make sure I have something warm when I get home? I'll text you when I'm on the way so you can warm it up for me. I think that's fairly reasonable. You know, he's not asking her to, like, you know, go do anything elaborate, but, you know, warm something up for me. Hey, you know, put this in the oven so it's warmed up by the time we get home. That's reasonable. But, like, you know, just, like, coming home and expecting it by default. That's a bit much, man. You know, it's nice, but, like, you shouldn't just, like, assume that's going to happen.
You could have done this style arguments.
I just knew I was going to come home and have some food on the goddamn stove. And now you playing, man. You playing. You playing.
On your way home.
Well, you playing. What the hell we get married for?
Whoa. Did he just say that, like, he married her so he could have food after he got home from work? Because that's a terrible reason to marry somebody, buddy. That's not a good reason.
She said that he could have gotten something on the way home. Now, thinking about the perspective of the other person...
That's true, Whitney. If they're, like, that's the thing, I don't know if they have kids, but if they have kids, taking care of kids is a full-time job, too. Take care of kids, doing laundry, doing dishes, that's suddenly a full-time job. Especially, like, it depends how young the kids are. If they're, like, teenagers and stuff, it's not as big a deal. But, like, if they're, like, babies, yeah, your sleep schedule's fucked. She's gonna be exhausted and burnt out.
Let me ask you, what's preferable? I work a 13-hour shift to drive straight home and get a meal that my wife made, or I detour to stop at a fast food place or a restaurant on the way home, wait between 10 and 20 minutes to order my food and have it made, and pay way more for it than it would cost to make it at home. So not only am I waiting more time for food...
Okay, but if he wanted his wife to make sure she had some food ready for him, maybe he should, like, set it up ahead of time and just be like, hey, I got this thing. Could you warm it up in the oven for me so it's ready when I get home? You know, there's things he could do here other than just coming home and getting pissed that like she's not ready to serve him. Because that's fucking cringe.
Food. But I actually have to add in the extra time that I had to work to pay for the extra cost of getting the food at a restaurant versus getting it at home. Not to mention that if he comes home during rush hour, taking a detour to go get food could cost him an additional 10 to 20 minutes. If that's the case, then we now have taken a guy who already does...
Okay. Well, let's assume she's not a psychic and doesn't know everything that's going on in the guy's mind. And just doesn't know. Like, that's the thing. That's why communication's important in relationships. Where if he wants that, he should express that rather than just come home and be an asshole about it. And, like, I would love to know, like, what their actual situation is. Like, we're judging so much from this little thing. Do they have kids? Does she take care of the kids? Does she have a job? Maybe she worked an 8-hour day and, like, had to go pick up the kids from their parents and has to watch the kids and take care of the dishes and all that. That's a lot of fucking work, too. Like, we're taking everything from his side because obviously that's what he made the video for, which is cringe. And yeah, this is a terrible analysis, by the way.
Doesn't have time and added like half an hour onto his workday when he has a stay-at-home wife who could just make him food. Or, if she didn't want to cook that day...
Is she a stay-at-home wife? Have we established that? Do we know that? Because that's just the assumption. We don't know that. Like, you've not provided any evidence. All we've seen is this fucking TikTok. Jesus.
Couldn't she have gone out and got him something so he wouldn't have to? Think about his perspective. Speaking of...
Well, think about her perspective. Like, why does she always have to think about his perspective, but he's not allowed to think about her perspective? Why is one expected and one, like, outlandish? Like, what the fuck standard is that?
Let's take a look at her perspective for a second.
No, DJ was theorizing this in AI voice. Maybe. I don't know. It's a weird voice. I don't know what's going on with it. It's definitely got an effect on it.
You've been doing it for like 2 or 3 months, man. What is it? I can't get no food when I come to the house.
Forewarning, I'm going to fill in the blanks a lot here because we don't know the full context of this situation.
Okay. There's your first problem. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't be analyzing this entire relationship based on this cringy TikTok that the husband obviously posted to get some misogynist points.
But I'm going to give her the best possible interpretation I can think of. The husband says that this lack of cooking has been going on for a few months, so I'm going to assume that this is all recent, and up until this point, she was making food for him. So we have to ask, what changed? From my perspective, assuming that she's being reasonable, I always like to blame myself because taking responsibility gives you the power to change things. In this situation, I would ask myself, what did I do to cause her to not want to make food for me? Then I would work to change my behavior to see if it gets me what I want.
Whoa. What the fuck? What are you doing, man? Like, oh, what did I do to cause her to not make food for me? Dude, just ask her, and, you know, maybe there's reasons why she can't. I don't know, fucking communicate. Like, this weird thing like, oh, I fucked up. That's not a good way to handle it whatsoever. Fucking talk to her, man.
Now, we don't know what's going on here, so I can only speculate, but there are plenty of common things that men do that will cause women to change their behavior and act passive-aggressively by doing things like refusing to do...
You could fucking talk to her. Jesus Christ, this is not rocket science.
...work that they previously did. Here's one of those things.
You know, one of the most interesting things is when another man tells me, yo, bro, look at the butt or the boobs on that girl over there. And I go, no, I'm good. That's okay. And then confused, they say, you're really not going to look? And I go, no, I'm good. And then they ask, do you like men? I find it absolutely hysterical that we live in a world where people would sooner assume that you're gay instead of that you're a married man who's faithful or that you're just not interested in looking.
A lot of guys...
Well, I don't see how being a married man or faithful means you can't look. It's just looking. That being said, if you're not interested in looking, that's fine for any reason.
...do this, and this kind of stuff pisses women off, especially the ones who want to be trad wives. Of course, there are women who do this kind of thing too, and maybe both men and women should see it as a red flag if their partner is constantly looking at other people who are outside the relationship. But in my opinion, if this guy's wife was doing something before for years and suddenly stopped doing it, then it's possible that a bad behavior of his caused her to change.
Okay, so no, this internalizing the whole situation is not a good way to handle it. This is terrible advice. Don't do this. But like his whole argument is, oh, you know, what could I have done to change it? Okay, just again, the answer is fucking simple. Fucking talk to her. You know, maybe she used to make dinners for him. Like, if she's a stay-at-home wife, maybe, okay, that's a deal they made, and, like, she stopped, and, you know, talk to her. Obviously, so there's something wrong. Talk to her. Don't, like, internalize, be like, oh, what could I do to... No, fucking talk to her. Fuck.
However, we have no evidence of that, and I was purely doing a hypothetical here as a chance for people to think about her perspective. But let's get back to the information that we do have.
I make sure the kids good. They got school clothes, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You good, right?
Eat
I
too.
pay the goddamn car notes, right? But why the man in the house can't eat? Why I can't come on? I bet they ate today.
They did eat today. They eat.
Wouldn't you prefer the kids eat? Why would you be like, oh, why'd they eat and I'm not eating? Dude, you should make sure you feed your kids. That's just good parenting. That's such a weird thing.
Eat every day.
Now, both of them...
Oh, yeah, that does confirm they do have kids. So, obviously, like, if she's stay at home, and I haven't seen any evidence that she's stay at home, but if she is, then, yeah, she's taking care of the kids. So, like, that's a full-time job. It just is. Grow up, man.
seem like they're handling their responsibilities with the kids. So let's remove the kids out of the equation here for a second.
Well, I mean, we don't know how many kids, but it's plural, so at least 2.
And just focus on the issues between the husband and the wife. Based on what we know, it looks like he is taking care of her needs, but she's not taking care of his needs.
She's not taking care of his needs. Well, it sounds like her job is probably mostly taking care of the kids, and it sounds like, what, she mostly did dinners until recently? It sounds like this guy's just being a crybaby because he missed dinner one night.
To the extent where she won't exchange niceties unless she's asked.
You don't even tell me have a good day when I leave out the house.
Did you have a good day today?
That, man.
At least she tried here, but she misses the mark because of her prior actions in the video. I don't think her actions are fully out of malice, though. I think it's probably ignorance, and his needs are being ignored because a lot of people...
Okay, I got more of a sense of sarcasm from her, but it doesn't really matter, because obviously this is a couple that has problem communicating, and that's the core issue we have to deal with here, instead of this weird, like, she's got to take care of him mentality that he's trying to push.
People have trouble seeing outside themselves. It seems like most people assume that other people value the same things they do, which is why when you ask women what men find attractive, they will say things that women like instead of what men like. Oh, and just to be fair, the very people on those alpha male podcasts who make fun of...
Yes? So you ask women what women like, and they name things that women like instead of things that... Yes? That's logical? Like, what's your fucking point, dude?
of women for being incorrect about men's values, fail to see things from the women's perspective as well. For example, this podcast here that everyone's been talking about recently, with John Doyle and this guy Jonathan telling women to endure physical abuse in a relationship.
Who's John Doyle? That's a familiar name. It looks like Destiny there, but John Doyle's a fucking familiar name. I know that name. Who the fuck is that? Oh, well, he seems like a reasonable fellow. Is an American YouTuber and political commentator. He's a paleo-conservative and has supported Donald Trump in 2020. John runs the YouTube show Heck Off Commie. What a classy name. What the fuck does that even mean? 2021, he was a guest speaker for Conservative Coachella. Fuck, that sounds awful. Oh my god, Conservative Coachella? Are you fucking serious? I don't know what that means. Neo-Gastonist, an ideology based on the tenets practiced by the Disney character Gaston. And oh my god, are you fucking serious? That character's a fucking cartoon of a man. So he literally, thinks men should be like Gaston? Is that, his ideology? Are we serious? This guy's a joke. Oh, yeah, but, yeah, let's use him as our source, sure. Primary source, yeah. Mm.
If there's someone that's very, very young, might be really religious and, values marriage a lot, and goes into a marriage and has kids when they're, 18, 19, 20, and then a year into the relationship, it gets really, really abusive. If it would happen, what would you recommend for those people to do? Would they divorce, or do you want them to keep going in the relationship?
Keep going. You can't divorce. That's not a real thing.
Even though it might be physically abusive?
Oh, well, physically abusive, absolutely, so they should leave that relationship immediately. I, every relationship's different. I lean towards, it all depends on the context, though. I think lots of times, especially if you have kids, you should struggle and make it work. But if it's an abusive relationship, if you're not happy, the fact is, if you're not happy with the other person and you will never be happy with the other person, the kids will sense that, and that's not going to be a good environment for the kids to be in, and that should be ended. But if there's any chance you can be happy, I feel like you should work it out. That being said, if we're dealing with physical stuff, yeah, absolutely, that should be ended. That should not be put up with. Fuck people who hit their significant others. I was about to say fuck men who hit women, but sometimes women will hit men, and fuck that too.
Because you got to endure. People are too.
You want to stick into the relationship?
People are just.
Look,
people
I'm gonna be
nowadays
honest.
are just pussies. Everybody fucking quits. Everybody gives up. And the reality is, people just haven't learned to fucking endure.
Well,
80% of couples can recover from that in 5 years, and I think it's fundamentally selfish. And you can tell because the type of people who say that, they're like, "Well, I just wasn't happy, so it's better for the child." It's absolutely not. It's not better for the child.
It depends. It absolutely depends.
This was one of those moments where a lot of people have been saying, out of context. But in case you don't trust me, I linked the full context in the description, and it is much worse than what people clipped. Now, the other guy, whose name is Chase, provided a little more nuance, so I'll let him off the hook a bit. But when they're asked if men should endure cheating, all of them, with no nuance, agreed that the man should divorce her instead of enduring.
What about if two people get married, they have a kid, and then the wife starts cheating? Do you think they should divorce?
Absolutely.
They should divorce then?
Jesus
Wow, really? Really? That's weird. Okay.
himself
You don't
said.
think it wasn't
Jesus,
an
hold on.
adultery,
Jesus
and you
himself
could
said.
work things through, right?
Jesus himself said, in cases of adultery, divorce is
So you think that
permissible.
divorce is worse than physical abuse?
For the
Or
children,
cheating, sorry. You think that cheating is worse than physical abuse?
for the
Sorry.
children, yes.
Okay, wow.
What? For the children? That's twisted. Okay. Let's see what this guy's take is, because that's fuck.
Weird that there wasn't an instant consensus like that when it was a woman being physically abused. Getting back to what I was saying before, people all over the place will fail to see things through other people's eyes, and will project their values onto others, thinking everyone is mostly the same.
Wait. You just brought up that whole thing and where those guys were saying, like, physical abuse. Like, a man beating up a woman is acceptable, but, like, a woman cheating on a man isn't. And, like, what was your take again? It's like your take was, like, nothing.
You think that cheating is worse than physical abuse?
For the children, yes.
Okay, wow. Weird that there wasn't an instant consensus like that when it was a woman being physically abused. Getting back to what I was saying before.
Oh my god. He doesn't even fucking... He plays that and he doesn't even fucking address it. Yeah, no, listen. Women should not put up with physical abuse as absolutely a reason. Like, not even like, oh, let's divorce. It's like instant separation. She should walk out with the kids instantly. Because if the man beats her up, she should take the kids, frankly. Because odds are, if she's not around, he might start beating up the kids. There's no reason to not believe that could happen. And if he's willing to abuse his family, that's something to be seriously concerned about. I think in most places that's justified reason to take the kids away too, because that's terrifying. Not acceptable. Cheating's really bad as well. I would put it on a grade below physical abuse. It's not as bad. It's a way, like, cheating is usually a manifestation. Somebody's done for a relationship and they don't know how to end it properly, so they cheat to fuck it up. Which is a terrible way. They should just end the relationship if they have an issue. Like, if you're so depressed in a relationship, you feel the need to go out and cheat, just break up with somebody. Just break up with it. End it. Don't cheat. But yeah, if you cheat, that's not as bad as physical abuse. It's not. Yeah.
People all over the place will fail to see things through other people's eyes and will project their values onto others, thinking everyone is mostly the same. When in reality, people can have all sorts of different values based on things like gender, culture, religion, and life experiences. The husband and the wife in this video clearly have different values because after he lists off the things he provides for her and
do they necessarily have different values? It sounds like he's tired from a 13-hour day and she's tired from, like, maybe just, doing the motherhood thing and, like, having all these expectations. Because that's also something else to keep in mind. He's working a 13-hour day, which means he's not around to really co-parent at all. So all the parenting stuff falls on her. And if those kids are young, that shit gets exhausting fast. And it's good to have somebody to help out, but if he's not around, he can't help out. And yes, he's providing for the family. Good. Absolutely good. But yeah, it doesn't mean, like, she's not going to suffer. She's not going to have, like, stresses on herself. And both, like, the stress of working a 13-hour day and the stress of being just a full-time parent, not really getting a break, these things should both be considered. It's not a one-side story.
the kids, she responds with this.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Man, you know what?
Provide and protect. Provide and protect. That's what you're supposed to do.
So it seems like in her mind that she thinks that she's supposed to take care of just the kids and herself, while he's supposed to take care of everyone, including himself. His well-being is not her responsibility, and that's what this argument is.
Well, actually, I could find an argument that, like, nobody's well-being is anybody's responsibility but their own. I think that's probably a reasonable thing to expect of an adult human being. But yeah, like I said, if he wanted food, like, just make sure to call and say, hey, do we have stuff for food? I'm really exhausted. You know, I want to make sure I'm good to go. If it was that big of a deal for him, communicate.
It's actually about. Not to say that she's doing nothing. This video was an ambush, and that kitchen is clean. The countertops are spotless, and
oh, well, she's, like, doing a good job keeping the kitchen clean then. So good on her.
Things are organized. But outside of that, it looks like there's a values mismatch that should have been clearly communicated before the marriage.
This is not a fucking values mismatch. This is, like, two tired people exhausted and not communicating properly. And let's face it, the husband's being kind of a dick recording it and posting it online. That's pretty fucking shitty. But yeah, this like, calling it a values mismatch is like a huge jump.
A really dumb move to make if you're going to take a massive risk like marrying someone is to not be upfront about your values early on in the relationship. Your
fucking values of, like, make sure dinner's ready for me every night when I get home. Like, that's not a value, man. That's just kind of like, hey, can you do this for me? Fucking goddamn.
Your values should be very well communicated before that kind of commitment is made, because it's better to be single for the rest of your life than it is to come home to an argument every day.
They sure do. They eat every day. That's a
Well, I actually dislike what I dislike here. Technically, he's right. It's better to be single than in a bad relationship. But I think it's also good to point out the fact that being single is fine. There is nothing wrong with being single. If you are unhappy, in fact, I would argue, if you are unhappy being single, you are not ready for a relationship. Because you shouldn't enter into a relationship unless you're happy where you're at. If you're happy where you're at, the relationship should just be a bonus. It shouldn't be a necessity for your happiness.
supposedly.
Because of who? Why your bank account got money in it? Why your bank account got money in it?
What you mean? Why my bank account got money in it? Why would
Because you able to keep your money from your job. You don't pay no goddamn.
Wait, so she takes care of the kids and she works. So she's not a stay-at-home mom. She works. Dude, like, yeah, these are two people who are exhausted, who are having an argument, and it sounds like they're just exhausted. Sounds like they just need like a vacation. That's what this sounds like.
Damn bill. I pay the car notes, the house notes. Every sport they in, I pay for it. Family trips, I'm paying for.
But, like, she works too, so she's providing an income as well.
You work from home.
So we might have an argument.
Okay, so that's what's going on. So she works from home, which I want to point out, working from home doesn't mean you don't work. It just means, you know, you get to stay at home. And I'm very jealous of people who get to work from home. I guess I get to kind of work from home from YouTube. I have a regular job as well. But yeah, that doesn't mean she's not working. And she still has, I imagine she's taking care of the kids while she's working at home, which is just a whole another level to making it rougher. This is like, like I said, these are two people who need a vacation. Like, that's the best prescription I could give based on this limited information, which probably shouldn't really even be followed because it's limited information. I don't know anything. It just sounds like these two people are burnt out and tired and just need to relax.
Argument here that the reason that she can't make him food is because she also has a job.
Raphael, yeah, no, you're not 100% right. Like, if they're constantly arguing with each other, it's a sign of a toxic relationship. It could also be just a sign of burnout. It could just be a sign that they need to communicate better and relax. Who knows? It could also be their kink, too. Sex after an argument can be exciting.
Two things. She's already making food for herself and the kids. That being said, is it really that much more work to make an extra serving? Is it really that difficult to order a bigger pizza so your husband can eat too? Second, if all the bills are already...
We don't know the full context of what happened. We don't know if it would be that easy.
Being paid and the health of her relationship is being compromised by having a job, then she should quit that job or...
They probably can't afford to have her quit the job because he's probably helping pay for all that shit.
Work fewer hours. A few extra dollars for a new purse is not worth a chaotic household.
Dude, do you on it? Like, I think it's interesting how she has a job and you're like, oh, she's working for a purse? No, I'm assuming she's contributing to the income as well. Heck, maybe it's even a thing where, like, his income all goes to the bills, and, like, her income is just their supplementary stuff for groceries and stuff like that, which you need to survive. You need a supplemental income to survive. You can't just pay the bills and be fine.
But anyway, I'm going to take this video in a different direction than the red pill types do, because I can hear my inner alpha male podcast.
Wait, you're not a red pill type? Who the fuck are you? You sound like a red pill type.
Saying, that chick did something wrong? Divorce her instantly. I think those guys are far too quick to say things like that over small issues that can be easily fixed with a little communication, much like how Betty Friedan and the feminists of a few decades ago told women to divorce their husbands and raise their kids in a broken family because they felt unfulfilled in the home. These issues on the man or the woman's side probably have similar solutions. Usually in relationships, both parties...
Okay, I'm getting sick of this stock photo shit, man. Like, okay, so you don't want to show your face on camera. I spent years not wanting to show my face on camera. I get it. Like, I don't know, doing fucking 10-second movie clips? I don't know, fuck. This is, this stock photo shit doesn't mean anything. Fuck, man.
are guilty when a thing goes wrong, but in this case, we don't have any information on what the wife's grievances are, so we're just going to focus on the husband. What the husband is essentially communicating is that he doesn't feel appreciated. He does all
Well, the wife is definitely getting like he doesn't feel appreciated. The wife is definitely getting the brunt of not being appreciated as well. He's in there. He's saying, hey, like essentially he's saying the only thing I value from you is making food for me. That's it. You know, having a job, taking care of the kids. I don't value this stuff. I just value like you having food for me. That's what he's communicating in that TikTok. I'm sure there's more to it. But that's all we're getting from that TikTok. That's not good communication. And I'm sure that's like she doesn't appreciate that and doesn't feel appreciated. So don't talk about like how he doesn't feel appreciated, because I'm sure she doesn't feel appreciated either.
all this work, and when he gets home, no one cares. Well,
that's true. You won't want to say this stuff and show your face. Yeah, true. Like that's the reason why a lot of these guys don't show their face on camera. I'll give it to like Gary and Disparu. Like at least like they showed their faces. Like you have people like Mahler types and lots of other types like that who just refuse to show their face. Rags.
Like I said, this problem is easy to fix, and there's evidence that she wants to do that because she said this.
You don't even tell me to have a good day when I leave out the house.
Did you have a good day today?
She's technically trying to fix things, but she doesn't know how to effectively do it. Now, some of you might know where I'm going with.
Well, I mean, his whole thing was disingenuous, so her thing was a little disingenuous too. It's not what we're seeing is not a functional conversation, and that's what these people need. They need a functional conversation, frankly.
This, especially the women who are listening, but for those of you who don't, there's a popular book called The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace. If you don't know that book by name, you might recognize
5 in the workplace? This is a fucking marriage, bro. Why would you read up about communication in a workplace for a marriage? It's not the same thing, dude.
it as the book your company uses to make you like your job more without actually paying you more. Jokes aside, though, according to page 35 of that book, it actually doesn't matter how much you pay someone. Of course, people should be paid what they're worth, but if you treat your employees like crap, they will hate their job regardless if they have a high salary or not. Anyway, the book goes over 5 different ways you can show appreciation to the people around you so that they feel like they are working for or doing something nice for a person who deserves it. Based on what the husband said, he doesn't feel like his wife deserves 13 hours of his labor. In order to change that, appreciation can be shown with words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, gifts, and physical touch. Each person will value these categories differently. For example, in Chapter 7, they point out that most people do not feel appreciated when they get gifts from their boss. It is important that you show appreciation in a way that the person prefers, or it will be perceived poorly or come off as manipulative. If you don't know what categories that you like the most, then you can take the quiz here.
So, for your romances, guys, make sure to take the work personality test. What the dude, I feel like I'm getting romantic advice from somebody who's never been in a relationship. That's what this feels like. Somebody who's like seen, maybe even read some stuff and seen some stuff, but like doesn't know shit.
As for other people, they can take the quiz too, but ultimately, if you just listen to them, they will eventually tell you what they like. So let's listen to the husband for a second.
I can't come home to a full course meal. Working all these long goddamn hours, I can't come home to a full course meal? Huh?
In this video, the husband is very clear about what category will make him feel appreciated for the work that he does. He likes acts of service and feels appreciated when his wife does things for him that make his day easier. If his wife doesn't want him to feel like his 13 hours are being wasted on someone who is ungrateful, then she can do things that save him time. Now, people have a primary...
And he should communicate more effectively that he would like that rather than just bitching at her. And recording it and posting it on TikTok. That's pretty shitty too.
...category that they like, and they also have a secondary category that they like. Conveniently, the husband actually communicates a secondary category.
You ain't called me all goddamn day since I've been at work.
In this part...
Does your family usually call you while you're at work? I mean, it's not impossible, but it's not, like, necessary. Doesn't always happen.
Part of the video, he's asking for quality time. If you pay attention, people will tell you what they like.
Well, true. Like, I think this couple definitely needs quality time, and if he's working 12 hours, they're not going to get that. So, Like, I don't know if they can afford for him. That's the thing. He's talking about how the wife should quit her job. It sounds like to me the husband needs to work less hours, and I don't know if they can afford that, but it definitely sounds like that's the issue.
So fixing this relationship could be as simple as making an extra serving of dinner when you cook, and maybe making like a 10-minute phone call during his lunch break. As much as people on the internet might say that this relationship is broken beyond repair, the reality is that he's asking to spend time with her while she's trying to make up for a
Yeah, but he's being kind of a dick about it, and he's recording it and posting on TikTok.
mistake she made by asking if he had a good day. It looks like neither of them want their relationship to be over. And the problem with all these one-sided FU arguments from feminist or red pill podcasts is you can take a perfectly savable relationship like this one and radicalize both parties into a costly divorce and a broken family for the kids. That's why these conversations need to have nuance. Communication is important, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the divorce rate is high at the same time that communication skills are at an all-time low. But this issue isn't that hard to fix. There are plenty of...
Dude, there's like almost like hintings of like decent advice in here, but like it's like so bad. It's so bad.
books out there like the 5 Languages of Appreciation or the Love Languages book that it's based on.
Okay. First of all, just don't read these books. Just don't. Just learn to communicate like a normal human being. Just talk to people. The 5 love languages. Like, here's what I hate about stuff like this. It treats it like women have some sort of secret language. Like, here's one of the tricks I'll tell you. Women and men, kind of like very similar. Like all the variations you get in different personalities of men, you kind of get the same thing with women. It's kind of the same thing. Societal wise, there'll be some differences, but like, you still get a wide range of variations. People are people. Men and women, they're just people. If, just talk to them like a fucking human being. That's it. Like, there's no secret code to talk to women. Not like, tap her shoulder and give her 2 winks, then she'll fall. No, just fucking talk to her. Treat her like a human being. That's it.
Based on. Or there are books like How to Win Friends and Influence People that teach you the formula for good communication, and all you have to do is memorize it and practice. The fortunate thing is that everything is already there for you, and you don't have to spend years figuring it out on your own. Anyway, thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you.
Wow, I feel like this is like relationship advice from a virgin. Like a guy who just, he's seen relationships from, afar, but he doesn't, understand them. Like, they're like an alien concept to him. Like, relationship, what is this? I don't think this is a thing. Like, what? Listen, I'm treating you like at the workplace. I'm treating you like a respectful person at the workplace. Because that's how you treat people in a romantic relationship, right? Like, we're at a workplace, right? Like, this is insane shit. No, don't. Treat them like a fucking human being. Find common interest. Enjoy talking to each other. Jesus, this is not tricky. I think this guy probably needs covered more, because this is really bad. This is like, I do feel like the left has issues with the romantic side of stuff, because I feel like lots of right wing guys, that was Andrew Tate's big thing, like the right wing, we're gonna teach men to be men and get the women and get laid a lot. It's like, no. Listen, okay, so I went through, I got divorced a few years ago. Actually, it's almost 10 years ago now. And I went through a period where I was looking at that self-help stuff. And what I found was that it was kind of fucking useless. Like, hey, you want to, talk to women? Here's weird games you can play. No, just talk to women. Like a human being. Treat them like a human being. Don't treat them like somebody you want to fuck. Just treat them like friends. And see if anything evolves. Because that's actually something else I've learned. Women will actually be kind of a little bit forward if they like you. It's not that subtle. So yeah, just treat people like human beings.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.